Illinois Secretary of State Alexei Giannoulias is joining others from across the country suing digital currency exchange Coinbase over a process called staking, saying that it's violating the Security and Exchange Commission's regulations. Coinbase firing back, saying there's been no updates from the SEC to deal with digital currencies. Welcome in Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Of course, digital currencies have been around for, like 15 years or so. Started with Bitcoin, a currency that is using a technology called the blockchain, which is a non-fungible line of code that is completely transparent, and you can't really defraud it because it requires independent nodes to independently verify transactions. Then Bitcoin led to a whole host of digital currencies that were created, some not necessarily as legitimate as others. If you remember the whole FTX scandal with Sam Bankman-Fried saying that ultimately he created his own token and had a bunch of money come in, and then it turned out the token was just based on really fraud. So you've got that ongoing saga. But you have also currency exchanges, Coinbase being one of them. And they've been around for a decade plus, and ultimately they allow for users to link their bank accounts to Coinbase, and then Coinbase holds those digital assets that they choose to purchase and trade for U.S. dollars or other currencies from around the world. And it's an interesting investment tool that people are using to put money into. And you've seen the dramatic swings of Bitcoin go from when it first came out, $10 a coin, $100 a coin, and then it jumped to $60,000 per coin. But now is about $26,000 to $27,000 per coin. Bitcoin is the highest valued digital currency because it's the legacy digital currency, but also it's considered the gold standard of digital currency because it has a finite amount of actual number of Bitcoins that are going to be mined. And that's a whole process on its own. But really, I think what's attractive for digital currencies like Bitcoin is it's decentralized. No central bank controls Bitcoin. It kind of operates on its own. And it's something that, you only have a certain amount. I think like 21 million Bitcoin are only going to be mined. So once it gets to that cap, there's not going to be any more Bitcoin mined. So those who have them obviously are going to have a valuable asset there. But there's this ongoing concern about people saying, hey, there's no real value to Bitcoin. And while that's a legitimate concern, it's obvious that it's stayed for more than a decade, and people are still investing in it. But let's get to what Secretary of State Alexei Giannoulias had to say in a news release earlier this week, saying that he and other state regulators have taken legal action against the crypto exchange platform Coinbase Global for violations of security laws. Here's a quote from Giannoulias. This action will protect consumers and investors to ensure that they can make informed and safe decisions in Illinois and across the nation. Illinoisans who invest their money in Coinbase or any other digital asset trading business deserve both security and transparency, and my office intends to hold crypto companies to the highest standards. The Illinois Secretary of State's Securities Department is a member of a task force along with 9 other states' securities regulators charging Coinbase for its violation of securities laws in connection with the company's staking offerings. Now, Giannoulias' office says staking is the process of holding a certain number of digital assets on a blockchain to facilitate processing transactions and to earn a return on their investment. Coinbase operated staking offerings where small to mid-sized investors could turn over their assets to Coinbase, which in turn would manage the process of staking and then takes a cut of the profits before sharing them with investors. So obviously it's an interesting turn of events when it comes to digital assets. And Coinbase, they themselves responded with a short video. It's a text video with some hip music, so we'll review that now on their Twitter page. They shared this just brief overview of their response to really these allegations. says Coinbase by the numbers. The number of times we've mentioned staking in our public S1 report, 57. Times we met with the SEC in 2022 asking for guidance, 30. Percentage of assets we reject because they don't pass legal standards, 90. The year the test was written for SEC using to determine tokens, 1946. Tech jobs at risks of being driven offshore, 100,000. Currency established comprehensive rules for crypto in other countries, 33. Comprehensive rules the SEC has established in America, 0. So obviously they say it's time for an update. So that's Coinbase's response to this ongoing question of whether or not they're above board or if they're doing some shady business. And this is going to be something to watch here in the future. So we'll do what we can to update you. And I know that digital currencies can be confusing and somewhat opaque in people's understanding of it, not really being able to fully see how it works, but how do you what kind of value do you have in the U.S. currency, right? It's just a piece of paper. What value is behind that? It used to be on the gold standard back in decades ago, but that was changed by Richard Nixon when it comes to how your U.S. dollar is backed. So we're no longer on the gold standard. We no longer have silver certificates. Now it's the Federal Reserve in a spreadsheet, and they can just add zeros to the end of the spreadsheet, increasing the amount of money supply in the economy, which could quickly devalue the currency. And that's, again, why people are more attracted to decentralized digital currencies like Bitcoin, because you don't have a central bank that's manipulating the spreadsheets to increase the number of dollars in the system, devaluing the value of the dollar. And you've got also this option that seems to be talked about around the globe of having central bank digital currencies, which some warn could give incredible control to central banks to not only manage dollars, but also at a flip of a switch, turning people's access off to those dollars. I don't know if digital currencies like Bitcoin are ever going to do away with the anonymity of cash. Cash, you always hear, is king, right? There's a level of anonymity when it comes to using cash for transactions because, well, you can't really trace it if the person paying cash wants to not be traced. A space when it comes to how your money is valued and how you use your dollars and who has ultimate control over those dollars, obviously a very important issue that we will continue